What is going on, Mr. My Jason here with the Xbox One review in it. So a little bit of the history of the Xbox One in that. So basically, this was like around late 90s in that. This is when I think when Bill Gates realized that with the new consoles in that, they were basically replacing like what PC games in that. And you guys know that Microsoft is basically like a PC company in that. So he was like basically like threatened with these consoles in that because he thought that the consoles are gonna replace the PC for like games and stuff like that. So he said to a bunch of people in that if he wanted to like basically do a console in that. And obviously because there were more computers in that, it'd be like, nah, because they were basically old in that. But then he discovered there was like a few other developers who wanted it in that. And they're basically the same people who did the DirectX. That's where the name Xbox comes from DirectX box. So basically, yeah, from the AI in that. So basically, he came up with those guys in there, and they made a prototype out of Dell laptops in that. And that is basically what happened in that. They showed the model and stuff like that to various people in that, and they also had The Rock actually star in it. But originally, the Xbox was not like this model in that. It was originally just gonna be like well, let me just show you guys. Like, it's basically just gonna like do that's the next model in that with the thing in the middle in that. That's basically what the original console looks like. But now it looks like basically well, a regular console now because I can't think of anything to say in that. So yeah, so that's basically the history of it. It was basically it was semi-successful in it. I went the PS2 over there and that was like massive. This cost like I think around 20 something million copies worldwide and that, which is pretty good. It was pretty average around the world, except for Japan. Japan hated this system and that, obviously because like American was also like, there was like barely any like focus in that, and it was also the PS2 was like quite popular over there as well, so yeah, it wasn't really successful. And the Xbox Series, well, according to reports, it slowly is replacing the PlayStation brand, but time will tell, I guess, in that. It's probably because I'm starting to keep censoring shit in that, so yeah. So hopefully, they will surpass the Xbox Series in that, but let's go to the console itself in that. With, like, the black and the green right here. Yeah, this is probably... That's like my favorite. This is probably like attracted me because this is basically like one of my. I swear it's a lot better in like just the generic blue logo over like the black thing in that. But this has like green orb of energy. Yeah, basically yeah. So I think it looks a lot more sexier than the PlayStation 2 console, and it looks more beefier than that. This looks more of a console, and that more looks like, well, a DVD player, even though I can play DVDs as well. This can play DVDs as well in that, but you need like a dongle that will plug into one of the ports and stuff like that, and play, yeah, and they can play DVDs on it, unless you ROM hack it. More on that later. So basically, yeah, this is like the actual design of it. It's basically like, same thing, you got the power button here, you got the button right here to take out the disc in that, and it has and instead of having two of them, it has four. And I know you can like pull like an expansion pack for like that PlayStation 2 in that, but this one has it out of the box in there. Name one company that's not Nintendo that has a system. Yeah, Sega does it with the last system, and... Well, Sega Saturn? No, Sega Saturn had two, actually, so yeah. To get four things out of the box in that, which is now antiquated, because it's now, like, everything's out wireless in that, yeah. And do you know what the central thing is? Since it's made by Microsoft and they basically computers in it, they basically made this sort of like a computer. So it has, like, a hard drive in it, and if you look in the back, it also has an Ethernet port in that. Yeah, you can, like, actually connect to Wi-Fi in that. And I think between that and the Xbox 360, I think they shut it down like a few years ago in that. But I think did they bring it back? I'm trying to remember. I think they did bring it back in that. But it's basically like Xbox Live. I think is it free? I'm not sure. I need to do research. Yeah, so it's basically got Ethernet. You got like basic audio, and basically like video and audio and stuff like that. It uses like the regular yellow, white, and red. There are red cables in that, composite, and obviously the power thing in that, yeah. So that's basically it, and that's what it looks like at the bottom, just a bunch of warning signs in that, yeah. And that was basically it for the console in that, but let's talk about the elephant in the room. The OG controller in it, aka the Duke. Damn, I'm big. Yeah, this was the original controller for that. Look how huge it is, yeah, So basically, this is what compares to the size of it. Yeah, it's like 1/5 of the thing in it. Yeah, and surprisingly, they actually re-released this for the Xbox One now, so you can like play it. You can play it as big hunk of plastic on the Xbox One. Now that is actually quite awesome in that. They can like revisit in that, even though it wasn't officially made by Microsoft in that. But it has like basically like the same buttons. It has like the Y, B, A, and X in that. X stealing from Sony, which I can't be bothered reaching over for the controller, but yeah, this is basically it. And it also has two other controllers that only appeared on the Xbox One, and that was the white and black box. That was, yeah, and when the 360 became backwards compatible in that, they replaced it with like the L2 and L1 and R1 in that. They basically replaced those buttons in that. Yeah. But this one eventually got replaced I think it was like a year later by the Xbox controller S in it, which I don't have at the moment because it's quite, I don't know, maybe it's quite expensive. And when I first got it, this was like the only one I got. I had an unofficial one in it, but one of the, I think it was like the R2 button was not working in it, so I basically just got rid of it in that. Yeah. Basically, yeah. And for the games in that, when the Xbox mostly gets criticized in that because it didn't like have any like there was actually ports in that, but there was like one game that they ported to PC in that was basically the killer app. It needs no introduction. It's goddamn, it's Halo Combat Evolved in that. Yeah, this is the classic version. I had the old version in that, but that one had like a broken thing in that, so this is basically, yeah. If the Xbox didn't have any like ports in that, or any like console exclusives, just point them all to Halo in that. That was basically it. Even though the sequel is better in that, but I haven't played the sequel next. I need to finish that. I'm stuck on a part where it's like a timed mission in that, so yeah, so I'm probably gonna finish this in that. And even though it's also the only console that actually had Doom 3 on it. Yeah, just don't mind the stickers in there. I brought this obviously second hand in there, but I want to keep the stickers for a historical thing in there. Yeah, but so yeah. So that's basically it for the PlayStation, the Xbox in that. So the Xbox, I believe it was sort of successful in New Zealand in that. Well, because I feel like it's more common in like the Nintendo GameCube and, well, PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 was successful everywhere in that, but the Xbox, well, was a pretty good success in that for like the 360 and stuff like that. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting. They eventually just dealt out the controller in that, which is good. I don't have the controller at the moment, as I said before. Yeah, so that's it. Oh yeah, soft modding in that. So basically, let me just, I'm just gonna move back to that. So basically, the console had like since it had like a hard drive in that, and didn't like have any like security in that. So even though it didn't really like it wasn't really that good of like console exclusiveness, so all ports in it, they were good on one thing in that. They were actually good at like homebrew in there, so you can easily, and with like the Wi-Fi, with like the internet, like Ethernet cable, like plug into a computer and transfer the files onto the Xbox in there, and as soon as there's a hard drive in that, so you can like soft mod it, so you can like play like pirate games in it, you can play emulators, you can also like play DVDs in that without using like the dongle thing in that. So that's pretty good. That's pretty sweet in that. So you get like a own system in that, and what this system also has in that, which I think it's only for the PlayStation, well, also the PS2, also the PlayStation 1 had the similar thing in that. And there was also something called System Link in that. So that's basically what System Link is, that it basically you can like with the Ethernet port back there and that, you can plug it into another Xbox in that. And if you have like, for instance, have 2 copies of Halo or 2 copies of Doom 3 in that, then you actually have like you have 2 copies in there. You can like play split screen in that with 2 TVs, with 2 Xboxes, and that's cool. And not only that, they actually like held on to System Link, that if you have if you actually have like 360 or Xbox One in that is actually compatible with Xbox One games in that. Sadly, Halo 1, to my knowledge, is not compatible on the 1 and beyond. It is compatible with the 360, because I did try it out with like some backwards compatibility and stuff like that. But you can actually, even though it was like made like nearly 20 years ago in that, it basically, you can actually like play original Xbox games with System Link in that. But I believe it's only Xbox One games that support System Link. I'm not sure if the 360 supports System Link in that. Maybe it does, but I'm not sure in that. I've never tried that out in that. Actually, I've got a bunch of like if you guys haven't seen the last video, I've got like a bunch of models in that. So I should probably try that out actually. Although I don't have like I probably because we have 2 copies of the same game net. So yeah, that's basically it. But with like the soft modding in there, you can like do like other stuff, like I said, like piracy. You can like do like emulators in there, but you can also like watch videos in there, and you can also do like basically, I said before, DVD player that in there. So if you did like buy like the Xbox One in that for like games in that, but you were disappointed with like exclusive in that, at least you can buy it to be your PC replacement in that. Yeah, this was basically before the days of like really like cheap ones in that and Raspberry Pis in that. And I actually heard that this one can like take games better than the Raspberry Pi next, so like it's bigger gigabytes and RAM and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's basically it on the Xbox, the original, the OG Xbox name. I want to call it the Xbox One, but just, damn you, Microsoft, and your bloody naming. God, if they were that good with naming that, we'll probably have Windows 9 by now. But yeah, that's basically it. So anyway, my trades, man, and I'll see you guys for the 360.